Beat Matt Batrep!
Welcome back. We're now at round 2 of the Terran vs. Aquan Prime. Unfortunately, the Terran won the initiative roll-off, and so he managed to activate his big battleship, and of course he's going for the kill with the heavy cruiser. And with a battleship versus a cruiser, shouldn't be too difficult, although I do have some point defense to help out and a bit of shielding. And you can see that he's going for, again, a double critical to kill, but once again he rolled a lot of 1s and 2s, so was only able to do a single critical, which still pretty much cripples the ship, brings him up to 4 out of 5 of his hull points destroyed, and he actually destroyed my main weapon, so for a round I won't be able to fire my 4 weapons until it repairs. And then firing his other weapons weren't effective, so he wasn't able to kill the cruiser, and then he decided to target his torpedoes on targets that have a little less point defense, and he managed to get quite a few 6s there. You see that's about 7 hits, so he scored a critical which destroyed 2 crew points, so it ended up killing a crew point and an assault point. So that cruiser is pretty much useless now when it comes to firing, because most of his weapons will be down by, or all of his weapons will be down by 2 except his torpedoes. So I decide I'm going to start moving up my cruisers and start to do some extra damage, once again ignoring his battleship, in the hopes that by destroying the rest of his ships, for one thing, it'll really lower the firepower that he has, and another thing, it will just allow me to get more points, and then at the end, if I'm not able to kill his battleship, maybe I can just hide the rest of my ships in the asteroids and just wait out and win that way. Either way, the heavy cruiser could only move up a bit because his drive damage, and so we're starting to target the cruisers here with the forward and the starboard weapons, or the port weapons. Oh, this is starboard, it's on the right. This is where the Aquan Primes start to shine when they get into where the enemy is. They're able to do a critical hit and do fire control, which means that that cruiser will not be able to fire the next time it activates. But when they get in, they're able to fire from their sides, their fore, their torpedoes, and even sometimes their aft, which lets them fire a lot of shots, doing a lot of damage all around. And so I was able to hurt that cruiser there, but it doesn't look like I'm going to be doing much more with all the crappy rolls and with his shields and point defense. So it's his turn, so he's activating his cruisers. He just knocked out the battleship off the magnetized base there, just so it wouldn't get in the way, because the ships do not actually block each other except for the bases. So he's lining up his cruisers, only 2 of them can fire, and so he's going for my cruisers in the back, and manages to roll pretty well. I think he did enough for another damage. Yeah, he did. He just damaged the one a little bit, and now he has his starboard weapons that he's going to fire at the cruisers right beside him. And unfortunately, or fortunately for me, he did not fire very well at all. Now the next part here is he decides to board the one cruiser that he did not fire at, because all 3 cruisers are within 4 inches, so he's able to drop 9 assaulters. So that was my point defense. As you can see, I did not stop anything, because it's 5 pluses. And then his boarders in one turn destroyed all the crew on my ship. In retaliation, they did not just stand and die, they actually managed to, as you're going to see here, I'm going to do 7 hits. And that killed 7 out of 9, but not enough. And so he's left with 2 assaulters, and he's claimed that ship. If he's able to shunt it away, it'll be worth double victory points. If I can kill it, it's only worth normal victory points. If I can recapture it and then shunt it away, then it's only worth half victory points. So I have to make a difficult decision. And so my cruisers are moving up and starting to drop mines, and I actually put the mines close enough to hope to damage that ship. The problem is the ship he captured was at full health. And so if I decide I want to start firing at it, I'm basically diverting a lot of firepower away from his ships. So it's a difficult decision allowing him to get those victory points and ignoring the ships, or doing vice versa. So instead I'm just going to open fire on his frigates, hoping to stop his firepower, because the frigates can actually do pretty well once they start to team up. And so just doing some more firing here. At this point I was starting to worry, because with that double victory points and with his battleship being unharmed, I realized that I was starting to get really low on firepower, and so would have a hard time really being able to take down his battleship. His frigate's opening fire here actually managed to do pretty well, and there did not score a hit. And just lastly, my frigates are going to be flying around the side. So I'm starting to worry here, because I'm realizing my firepower is dwindling. I was wondering maybe if I made a mistake in not targeting all the weapons on his battleship. But I thought if I did that, then all his other ships, the cruisers and frigates, would be able to have a field day with my ships. So it was kind of a difficult choice of which of the big targets to really go after. So my frigates finally come out into the flanks and open fire. And unfortunately, they don't think they did much damage. I think that was a hit, but then he actually got a shield and so he managed to stop any of the hits. So those frigates did no damage to his frigates. And now he's going to retaliate by turning around his frigates and coming right back at me. And so my flanking here is starting to get pushed away because I did not manage to do any damage. So his 2 frigates are turning around. Luckily one's damaged, so he's going to have 1 less attack die on all his rolls, except for the torpedoes that the Terrans have. But he manages still to link and roll 2 6s and score 5 hits, which, because I don't have shields, is an automatic critical, which destroys a frigate. And now firing his torpedoes even, he managed to score a hit, or 2 hits with a 6, but luckily for me that's all he did, so that was not enough. So he turns around and just blasts one of my frigates away, and that was pretty much the flanking maneuver I did there. That failed miserably. I still have the 2 frigates there, but was hoping to get a lot more damage in there. Instead they just spent most of their time moving. Unfortunately, that's the case with Firestorm, is that you spend a lot of time. You don't have very many rounds, basically. You have about 3 or 4 rounds of decisiveness, and after that it's more just picking off stragglers. You can see we're in round 2. I find round 2 to be the most bloody of all the different rounds. So these frigates now are getting to use their full armaments as they get in the thick of things. They can fire in all directions. And they link fire in front and to the sides, and they actually managed to critical the cruiser and destroy him, which was a nice victory for those 3 frigates. So we're just ending round 2 now, and you can see everybody's packing into the middle just like I predicted, because the asteroid fields kind of drove them there. So I'm hoping to be able to drop some mines. But a lot of damage has happened. That one of my cruisers is captured, the other ones are damaged except for one of them. And my flanking assault is not really going through, and his battleship is untouched. So after round 2, it's not looking very good for me, especially because he captured one of my cruisers and pretty much destroyed my heavy cruiser. So currently the points are 100 for the Terrans and 135 for me. Now this does not include the captured frigate. The next video should have all the remaining turns as they happen rather quickly. So thanks for watching this, and we'll see you at the next part.
Visit miniwargaming.com to see our videos 1 month early.